Although lots of data is created in our daily life in current digital age, but sharing, usage, and access of this data by authorized user is a concern for data provider and data owner. As we discussed in this morning, we already heard about this problem. Providing the right data to right user in a controlled manner is always challenging. Different properties of people that ask to access data, variety of contextual condition, and different level of data sensitivity make this control even harder than it is. So there is a need to control system which can manage who is privileged to access which segment of data and what condition and why. Let's see how semantic web technology, as we already heard something about that in the previous lecture by Rob, and we already heard about the metadata. Let's see that how can semantic web technology can help us to provide this control. Semantic web is able to represent a domain knowledge through a data model as a set of concepts within a domain and capture the relationship between these concepts, which is referred as ontologies. This model can be then queried to answer complex questions. You are seeing some one ontology on the photo. Also, using semantic web makes it possible to infer new knowledge from the current state of the systems through a logic-based reasoning. That's very important to inferring new knowledge. In Adapt Center, we have developed a framework which control data access and explain the detail of access decision to any controller proxies. For example, in the case of archive, you can consider any librarian and data owner by using semantic web technology. This framework consists of two main units: access control unit, express access rules, then enforce and evaluate them based on current contextual condition through an ontological model. Since access transparency unit in this framework provide more visibility on details of access decision made in that unit. Ontology Manager creates and updates domain ontology and express privacy rule using the specific machine understandable language in this framework. Meanwhile, context information about current and dynamic states, which is needed to perform reasoning, can be collected by context manager in this framework. The policy enforcement manager perceived access requests and enforced them to determine appropriate privacy rule, then dispatch and access decisions over those. The reasoning engine is responsible to infer new knowledge according to the current state of context through performing reasoning. And the last part of this framework is as I said, that access transparency units involve access exposer, which collect all detailed information about current access decision and expose that according to which context, who requests access to which data, and what is the access decision made. Since the reason for the access decision explained through access explainer, it describes the detailed justification to explain why and in order to which corresponding policy rule and decision has been made. Uh, Actually, I don't want to go deeply in the implementation on this framework because of this few minutes that I have. Although this framework has been implemented and evaluated for a scenario in health domain, but it's scrutable to apply in a different domain, and it's flexible for different hierarchy of data and to model various systems with a different level of complexity. Just I want to mention that these framework can use semantic web technology to implement some these metadata and these relationships to infer new data for preserving the privacy over our data in even in archive one. Thank you. I think that these 5 minutes is really short time. I don't want to pass this time, and it's just time. Please feel free to contact me. Even I can share these details of contacts in the chat box if you have any questions. Thanks, Malika.